You haven't had me on one of your records.
Yes, I...
That would be a...
No, I was on your record.
You were on my record.
When Blake Shelton finally opened up about his long-rumored relationship with Kelly Clarkson, fans around the world were absolutely floored. For years, the two country superstars have shared the stage, traded jokes on The Voice, and built a bond that seemed deeper than just friendship. But what Blake just admitted left everyone speechless, not only because of what he said, but because of what it revealed about their personal and emotional connection. To the outside world, Blake and Kelly's friendship has always been lighthearted, full of playful teasing, hilarious banter, and musical chemistry that lit up television screens. But behind that laughter, there was something much more profound, something neither of them ever truly talked about. Blake's confession, made during a rare emotional interview, peeled back the curtain on a friendship that had endured heartbreak, loss, and years of mutual respect. Fans who followed their journey on The Voice remember their bond vividly. The way Kelly could make Blake laugh even on his most serious days, or how Blake would step in to defend her whenever critics came too close. But according to Blake, their connection wasn't just about television or music. It was personal. And it went far deeper than anyone ever guessed. Now, as Blake looks back on his years alongside Kelly Clarkson, he's finally telling the truth about what she really means to him, why their relationship changed him forever, and the emotional story that fans never knew was unfolding behind the cameras. When The Voice first brought Blake Shelton and Kelly Clarkson together, no one could have predicted the magic that would unfold. The chemistry between the two wasn't just entertaining, it was undeniable. From the moment Kelly joined the judging panel in 2018, viewers could sense that this was no ordinary working relationship. Their banter felt effortless, their laughs genuine, and their support for each other real. It was clear something special was happening between Blake and Kelly. Blake, the easygoing Oklahoma country star, had already been a fan favorite for years. But Kelly brought something new, an energy that challenged him, inspired him, and often caught him off guard. Kelly came in like a tornado, Blake once joked, and I mean that in the best way. She shakes things up. She was bold, confident, and unafraid to speak her mind. And Blake loved that about her. Behind the playful teasing and on-screen rivalry, however, was a deep mutual respect that fans didn't always see. Off-camera, Blake often turned to Kelly for advice. Her strength, especially during difficult times, left a lasting impression on him. Around that time, Kelly was going through personal struggles of her own, including the collapse of her marriage to Brandon Blackstock, who, ironically, had been Blake's longtime manager. It was a complicated situation, one that could have driven them apart. Instead, it drew them closer. Blake saw firsthand how Kelly handled her heartbreak with dignity and courage. She didn't hide from the world. She faced it head-on, even when it hurt. She's one of the strongest people I've ever met, Blake later admitted. You think you know someone until you see them walk through fire and still come out smiling. Those words, spoken years later, hinted at just how much Kelly had influenced him. While the media often tried to spin their connection into something romantic, the truth was more profound. Kelly became a source of grounding for Blake, a reminder that fame doesn't mean you stop being human. During his own emotional struggles after parting ways with The Voice and transitioning into a quieter life with Gwen Stefani, it was Kelly's presence, her humor, and her empathy that helped him stay balanced. Both stars had endured heartbreak and personal change under the public eye, and maybe that's why their friendship became so unshakable. They understood pain, resilience, and reinvention in ways only few could. When you're in this business, Blake once said, it's rare to find someone who gets you. Not the celebrity version, but the real you. Kelly's one of those people for me. On set, they were unstoppable, trading playful insults and heartfelt compliments within minutes of each other. But off stage, the bond deepened into something far more meaningful. They became each other's confidants, sharing advice, laughter, and even tears. For Blake, who had lost many close friendships over the years due to fame and distance, Kelly was a reminder of what genuine connection looked like. What fans didn't realize was that Blake's admiration for Kelly wasn't just about friendship. It was about gratitude. She reminded him of who he used to be before fame, before heartbreak, before the spotlight took its toll. She brought out his authenticity in a way few could. And when Blake finally spoke about it publicly, his words made it clear that their connection had changed him forever. "She was the one person who always saw through all the noise," he said quietly. "She's more than a friend, she's family." It was a rare glimpse into Blake Shelton's heart, a place guarded by humor, music, and decades of resilience. But when he talked about Kelly Clarkson, the walls came down. By the time Kelly Clarkson's marriage to Brandon Blackstock began to crumble, Blake Shelton was one of the few people who truly understood the pain she was going through. He'd lived that heartbreak himself, twice. Having gone through a painful divorce from Miranda Lambert in 2015, Blake knew the kind of loneliness and emotional exhaustion that comes when a relationship you built your life around suddenly falls apart. Kelly had always been known for her confidence and strength. But during those years, the cracks started to show. The tabloids painted her as resilient, yet few saw the emotional toll behind the scenes. Blake did. As her friend, he watched her struggle to balance her music career, motherhood, and the brutal reality of ending a marriage in the public eye. It was during that time that their bond deepened into something more meaningful than either of them expected. Blake wasn't there with sympathy. He was there with understanding. He didn't tell her what to do, and he didn't try to fix her pain. Instead, he listened. He offered quiet moments of honesty and humor when she needed them most. Kelly later revealed that it was Blake who reminded her to never lose herself to someone else's story. Coming from a man who had faced his own demons in love, those words hit deeply. At the same time, Blake was adjusting to life with Gwen Stefani, a relationship that started on the ashes of mutual heartbreak. Both had come out of divorces, both were rebuilding themselves, and both were trying to trust love again. But even as he found happiness, Blake never forgot what it felt like to be broken. That shared experience became the foundation of his friendship with Kelly. There were moments when Kelly would show up on the Voice set, her smile not quite reaching her eyes, and Blake would immediately notice. He'd crack a joke, call her bossy, and make her laugh until she forgot whatever was weighing her down, at least for a while. But what fans didn't see were the quiet moments between takes, when the cameras stopped rolling and the laughter faded, when Blake would ask how she was really doing. He once told a close friend, "Kelly's the kind of person who takes care of everyone else. She forgets to take care of herself." It was something Blake understood all too well. The constant need to perform strength, even when you're falling apart inside. And for both of them, music became their therapy. When Kelly released emotional tracks like Piece by Piece and Because of You, Blake couldn't help but feel protective. He admired how she turned pain into art, how she used her voice to process everything she couldn't say out loud. "That's her power," Blake once said in an interview. "She'll take something that would destroy most people and turn it into a song that helps millions." In many ways, Kelly became a mirror for Blake's own journey. Watching her rise from heartbreak reminded him that healing was possible. He saw in her the same fire that kept him going after his own divorce, a stubborn refusal to let pain define who you are. Their friendship was never about gossip or romantic speculation. It was about survival. Two people who had been through the worst and still chose to keep smiling. And while the world kept trying to label their connection, Blake and Kelly knew what it truly was: a deep, unspoken bond forged through honesty, respect, and empathy. "She reminded me," Blake once said, "that no matter how bad it gets, you can always sing your way out of the dark." In that one sentence, he summed up not only what Kelly Clarkson meant to him, but what she represented to millions of fans who found strength in her voice. It was during an intimate interview on a country radio show that Blake Shelton finally said the words that left fans stunned. The usually lighthearted, joking country singer grew quiet when the host asked about Kelly Clarkson, about what she really meant to him after all these years on The Voice. For a long moment, Blake didn't speak. Then, with a rare hint of emotion in his voice, he finally admitted, "Kelly Clarkson was one of the most important people in my life. not romantically but emotionally. She was the love I didn't expect, the kind that changes you without you realizing it. Those words immediately spread across social media, sparking headlines, debates, and even rumors of hidden feelings. But for Blake, this wasn't about scandal. It was about honesty. For over a decade, he and Kelly had shared a connection that went far beyond the cameras. She had been his confidant, his cheerleader, and at times, the one person who told him the truth when no one else dared to. Blake went on to explain that Kelly's presence in his life came at a time when he was struggling to redefine who he was. After the end of his marriage to Miranda Lambert, his relationship with Gwen Stefani helped him heal. But it was Kelly who reminded him how to be himself again. "She never let me hide behind fame or humor," Blake admitted. "She called me out, made me better, and always believed in the real me." For years, the pair had shared a sibling-like teasing dynamic on The Voice. But what most people didn't see was how much they leaned on each other off camera. During Kelly's toughest days, navigating custody battles, heartbreak, and the challenges of single motherhood, Blake would send messages of encouragement, or even stop by her dressing room just to make her laugh. You could tell there was a deep trust between them, one producer recalled. They understood each other in a way that didn't need words. When Blake decided to leave The Voice in 2023, he later admitted that one of the hardest parts was saying goodbye to Kelly. "She made the show feel like home," he said. "When she was there, I didn't feel like I was just part of a TV show. I felt like I was working with family." Kelly, too, has spoken fondly about Blake. In multiple interviews, she described him as her big brother in country music, someone who always had her back no matter what. But beneath the humor and friendship, fans began to realize that Blake's confession was about more than just fond memories. It was a rare acknowledgement of emotional intimacy in an industry that often hides it behind public smiles. He wasn't declaring romantic love. He was honoring the kind of connection that changes a person from the inside out. The kind that stays with you even when paths diverge. "Sometimes," Blake said softly, "the people who help you through the worst don't stay in your life forever, but they leave you better than they found you." Kelly did that for me. For someone like Blake Shelton, a man who built his image on humor, toughness, and Southern charm, those words revealed a vulnerability fans had never seen before. It wasn't just a confession. It was gratitude. He was acknowledging that the laughter, the arguments, and the quiet moments they shared had shaped him into the man he became. The revelation rippled through both fan bases, with many calling it one of the most heartfelt admissions of Blake's career. For Kelly Clarkson, it was a silent tribute, proof that behind every great friendship in show business, there can exist a story deeper, more human, and far more beautiful than the world ever imagines. After Blake Shelton's heartfelt confession, the world finally saw what those close to him had known for years, that his connection with Kelly Clarkson was built on something far greater than fame, television, or even music. It was built on trust. Through years of laughter, heartbreak, and reinvention, their friendship had become a safe haven in an industry where loyalty is rare and authenticity even rarer, even as their lives took different paths, with Blake focusing on life in Oklahoma, alongside Gwen Stefani and Kelly continuing her talk show and music career. The two never drifted far apart. In interviews, they often mention each other with warmth and genuine fondness. Kelly once said, "Blake is one of the realest people I've ever met. He doesn't fake it for cameras. Who you see is who he is." And that honesty is exactly what made their friendship endure through every change. For Blake, leaving The Voice in 2023 was bittersweet. It wasn't just the end of a job. It was the end of an era filled with people who became like family. But the one goodbye that weighed on him the most was Kelly's. During his final episode, Kelly surprised him with a touching tribute, performing a song that celebrated his legacy on the show, filled with humor and emotion. Blake, known for his jokes and quick wit, sat silently, eyes glistening as he listened. It was a moment that perfectly captured their relationship, playful yet deeply heartfelt. After the show ended, Blake admitted in an interview, "When Kelly sang that song, I realized how much she means to me. She's one of those people who'll always be in my life, no matter what. It wasn't a dramatic statement or a viral headline, just a simple truth from a man who had learned to value genuine connections over fleeting fame. In the years that followed, both stars faced new challenges. Kelly continued to rebuild her personal life while balancing her career, and Blake focused on family life and rediscovering peace away from the spotlight. Yet they continued to support each other from afar, sending messages, sharing advice, and occasionally appearing on each other's shows. Behind every smile and joke, there was a quiet understanding that they had both helped each other survive some of the hardest chapters of their lives. Kelly often credited Blake for reminding her to laugh again when things got dark. And Blake, in turn, never shied away from admitting that Kelly's strength taught him how to open his heart in ways he hadn't before. It's rare in Hollywood to find friendships that last decades, but Blake and Kelly's bond remains one of the most genuine stories to come out of The Voice. There was never any need for rumors or romance. Their connection spoke for itself. They shared something more powerful: mutual respect, emotional honesty, and an unspoken promise to always be there when it mattered most. When asked years later if he missed working with Kelly, Blake smiled and said, "Every day." She made work fun. She made life lighter. She's one of those people who just makes you better without trying. At 60, as Blake reflects on his life, career, and the people who've shaped him, it's clear that Kelly Clarkson holds a special place in his story, not as a lover or co-star, but as the friend who reminded him that even in the chaos of fame, real human connection is still possible. Their friendship stands as a rare example in the entertainment world, proof that sometimes love doesn't have to be romantic to be life-changing. Blake Shelton's confession wasn't just about one woman. It was about gratitude, growth, and the kind of emotional truth that only comes with time. And as he once said, with that familiar, easy smile, if you're lucky enough to have someone like Kelly in your life, don't let go. People like her don't come around twice.